Welcome to a new market update, and today we have been discussing Bitcoin and Ethereum in the live stream. Bitcoin is rejecting at 51k, while everybody is getting very euphoric about Cardano and the markets in itself. What are the levels to watch, and should you be buying Bitcoin at this stage, or should you be sitting on the sidelines for a little bit? Those are topics that we have been addressing, and that's why I've made an additional technical update in the live stream. But before that, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, don't forget to like the YouTube update, and don't forget to check out our website in the description beneath and enjoy this additional update of the markets. Let's discuss the markets at this stage. So we discussed Bitcoin earlier this morning in the update, right? And what I stated there was the fact that we are not breaking resistance at this point yet. This entire region is the resistance zone. What I mean by that is that we find support at those lower levels at 48k in this range. And we have resistance here at 48.2. But we do have some clear resistance levels here as well to break through. So those bounces at 51 have marked this rejection here. Okay, so given that that is creating the rejection at this point, this entire range bound construction is where Bitcoin is currently waiting for. So it wants to get back into this range. So here we want to play again, but we've just been going vertical and we are testing the resistance for the first time. Good side note though, we have flipped 48k for support. So we flipped here for support, meaning that there is a chance that we're going to crack through 51k. However, it's quite fragile. That means that if we lose 48k, we could be having a very harsh correction towards any of these lows again, and potentially even 41.4. And that's probably going to give some pain to the altcoins too. That structure remarks the entire structure that we have here for me. Meaning that we have got this nice grind up, rejection, sideways action and continuation. It's also a little bit of the same of any of these range construction. Usually what Bitcoin wants to do, is that it grinds up, rejects in a very harsh manner and stabilizes for a range. So if the Binance rumors are true, I think we could be having that correction as additional news. Always rely on price action, in which price action is currently showing us the case where we are into resistance, especially when it comes to Cardano. Like the only word that you hear about Cardano is bullish, bullish, bullish. It's going to flip Ethereum. And the moment I saw that it's going to flip Ethereum, that's usually a signal that you don't want to be in that position at all. So, this is pretty much the scenario that I'm looking at right now. Invalidation of this scenario is going to happen when it cracks through 51k. If it's going to do that, we're going to see a very big squeeze towards 57. So just like this breakout here, I think we're going to see something like it. So fast breakout towards any of these highs. But in order to do so, I think we want to have some buildup of strength. And second, where is the max pain at this point? Everybody, or at least most of the markets, are ultra hyped. Everyone wants to buy Cardano because it's going to save Corona. Where is the pain at this point when the funding rates are getting highly positive once again? That is downwards. I think that when you're facing this heavy resistance zone, it means that when the funding is so high, the chances of going down is just a little bit heavier than going up. And when there is additional news, it just fuels it additionally. So it just pulls the market back further. Doesn't mean that we're getting into a bear market relief rally. It doesn't make sense in this entire inflationary system. The only sense it makes is when the entire equity markets are going to crash heavily, which I do not see happening at this stage. So we've just witnessed Bitcoin going up about 70% from 28k. We've just witnessed sentiment going from funeral state towards we are buying Lambos again. And in between, you've got a healthy corrective move that is needed for the markets to continue moving afterwards, which means that I'm looking at such a structure right now. Also, what I said today with Pound, usually when they invite me for an interview, it's the moment where the market heats up and when the market is getting to a short-term top. So that is currently what I'm expecting with the markets based on a daily time frame. So let's just look at the lower time frames, for instance. And if I look at the daily candle, this just doesn't look great to me. So resistance, yes, great. All right, resistance. What is the level that I'm looking at for potential support? So there are a few levels that I'm looking at based on the daily time frame. First one, obviously the level that we don't want to lose is 38k. Beneath there, it's just going to be 25, I guess. Next to that, we've got this high, which is around 42. Pretty much the most obvious level everyone is going to look at. And to me, the level that you really don't want to lose is the recent higher low, which is this level here. That's the level around 44.6. So when you look at it in this phase, you're looking at a pretty nice range-bound construction, which is just the same as here, or the same as any of these constructive movements here, right? So right now we are facing resistance, and the critical support that we're looking at is around 44k, which is about 12% down. When we look at the markets from a lower time frame perspective, we can see that we've flipped 48 for support, right? So 48 became support, and that is ultimately also the critical level right now. So what we're looking at right now is a potential bearish divergence. We're still making higher lows and higher highs, but it's looking quite tricky. So you don't really see any continuation at all. This is the previous high, so this is flipped. So this block here is the level that you're watching. The pain is going to happen when this is lost, as most of the buyers currently have their stop at this level. The liquidity is here. It's the most obvious level that we have. So when that happens, I think that we're just going to cascade all the way down towards 44k. So at this point, if we're going to make a lower high in this region here and we're dropping towards 48k, I think we're going to have a corrective move. If the daily is going to close like this, I think within the next 48 to 72 hours, we might be having the first real start of a corrective move. And as I said, that doesn't mean that the market is going to correct heavily. It's just going to get a healthy correction. So 51 is for me the bullish breaker. And for me, the crucial support is the 48k level. If that is lost, I don't think we're going to hold 47. I think we're just going to fall apart. That I'm looking at 44. That's very simple how I'm looking at Bitcoin at this stage. I don't want to long here. We're going to dive into that topic on where to long, where to short. But at this stage, I don't want to long. I'm even thinking about a potential short at this point, looking at the lower levels where I want to start accumulating once again. So I've been taking rightful profits, also too early, also being shared in the platform. But this is just not a level where you want to start looking for longs at all. Also, 850 people watching, thumbs up, but I only see 250 likes. Please do thumbs up. Thank you very much. That is helping me a lot, and that's also helping me to grow this channel nicely. When we're looking at Ethereum, we basically get the exact same view at this point. So what we see, and I've discussed this earlier this morning, is the exact same as Bitcoin. More strength, that for sure. And also higher lows, that also for sure. But we do have this level here that we have been marking as resistance. We rejected at 34 once again. In that case, I think that based on the fact that we just made a higher low, we are eager for a retest of this higher low here. Especially if Bitcoin is not able to break 51k, I think we're going to build up some more strength. And you know already that if 2980 is lost, we're going to look at the next level, which is 26. That is the very obvious level where everybody wants to long. I don't think we're going to get to that level, but I do believe that the retest of 3K is happening if the market is not going to give more strength. So the crucial level for me to break through is 34 for Ethereum based on this daily time frame. The crucial support right now lies around 3160. So this level is the one that I want to watch. If that is lost, I'm looking at 3K. Lower time frames at this point, basically the same figure. I'll just get a clean chart, otherwise it's just not making sense at all. What we see here is that we try to break above resistance, but if resistance doesn't hold, so at this point we are breaking above resistance, the price has been acting here. If it doesn't hold again, this is deviation. I think we skip this level or we do this and then we fall down again. And then I'm most likely going to look around this level of 29. Probably about like anywhere in this range, that is where I'm looking at. So this entire block, that is the area that I want to put anything for longs. So at this point, I'm just not too interested in any longs at all if I was interested at the first place. So what is the level to watch for Ethereum? Well, that's pretty much this recent high, which is around 3280. If that holds, I think we can just have a new retest of 34.5. But if it doesn't, I think we're going to have this corrective move, and that is just basically based on the fact of Bitcoin or whether Bitcoin is going to move up or down or not. And at this point, especially when we look at the daily time frame for Bitcoin, it doesn't make sense to me that we're going up. It just doesn't. So yeah, I mean, that's just not what you want to hear, but that is really the case at this point. So the title shows biggest alt season ever, right? And to be honest, some altcoins have been going crazy, and we have seen some massive movements. We've seen Avalanche doing great, Luna doing great, Cardano, which I'll be discussing shortly, has been doing great. That does mean that we're going to test some lower levels, honestly. We're not going up at all, ever, in a straight line, meaning that lower levels are likely to get tested. So what are we going to get after? Well, if we look at the Bitcoin pairs for altcoins, I think we're still going to have strength with them. I still believe that we're going to have the biggest alt season at the end of this year. But in order to do so, I think the correction has to happen, and after that higher low for Bitcoin, after that retest, altcoins will just continue moving. Especially when it goes into a range like this, that is going to give us space. Altcoins move the best during such a sideways period. So that is most likely the phase where altcoins are going to do great. If you have positions in altcoins, I highly instruct you to take profits and to move it towards assets to defend your portfolio. If you, for instance, have $1,000 and your portfolio goes to 15, lock 5 to 10K. Lock it, go towards other assets. Because if the markets are going to run heavily in the coming months, maybe until April 2022, that run is going to be once in a lifetime. After that, the crash will be inevitable and it will be heavily painful for most of you. So I highly urge you to take profits, move the money towards assets that don't have too much risk involved, and build a proper portfolio. And that's also the core value of our group.